Welcome. That's my take podcast. Today, we're going to be starting our new series by judging your guys' Dynasty teams. So, to start off, we had an entry from Nick Smith on Instagram, which, first off, thank you to everyone that submitted their teams today. Hoping that we can expand the community of That's My Take more. We want to make it where we just have a bunch of people that love talking about football. But to jump into it,
Wait, before you do, it's N Smith 4812 on Instagram.
perfect.
Shout out to Nick. Shout out to Nick Smith.
So, first off, just before we get into it, it's a 4-round draft, and he said something about like a conditional 5th and 6th round, but not gonna get too much into details there. The main part of the draft is 4 rounds. This is going to be entering their third year of the league, and it is a 10-man tight end premium, so 1.5 PPR for tight ends, and then normal PPR for rest of positions. So, also going into their starting lineup and how it works, they have 2 quarterback spots, 2 running back spots, 2 receivers, and then 3 normal flexes: wide receiver, running back, tight end. And they have no kicker, no defense because they don't play that way, I guess. So, this is the layout of the team. I don't know. I think he said this might not be exactly his team. I think he said this was one of the ones that needed work.
Hold on.
I mean, I don't know about you guys. I can kind of give my first.
Yeah, you go for it. It is one of his teams. It's just the worst out of all of his teams, he said.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I think first we should do is just our initial, when we saw the team, what our initial thought was. And my thought was not great QBs, not very good depth, but his stars and Jonathan Taylor and Jefferson puts you in a good spot where you're not in the worst situation possible.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I definitely agree. I don't mind his quarterbacks per se, but Jared Goff would need to be a good insurance option if all else fails. I don't mind Russ for the future.
Yeah, but you got to think he's playing 2 QBs a week.
Oh yeah.
And this is a 10-man, so
Yeah, nah. Yeah, Mariota won't be fine beyond this year.
Considering this is a 10-man, nothing about his team stands out to me like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really a fan of Elijah Moore at one of his flex spots. Jahan Dotson should be a good pickup. And then he did a good job of taking handcuffs. Lazard, ton of upside. Tim Patrick, best player in the NFL.
I like Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah. I mean,
and he has JMO. He has JMO.
What this team almost looks like to me is that it was pretty bad, and then he just had the 1 or 2 pick last year, and the 6 or 7, and he got Taylor and Jefferson, or in 2020.
Yeah.
Wait, so hold on. This would be their third. So no, they drafted those guys as rookies, I think, if my math is correct. So I almost wonder who his first round pick was startup wise. He didn't really include trades he made, so I'm almost curious as to what had happened, but I don't know. I mean,
this definitely screams rebuild to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll jump into that.
Actually, I wouldn't say that. I'll play devil's advocate after.
Well, it's almost. I mean, you can even, if you guys can see my mouse, obviously, right?
I gotta find my charger.
I think this is a good idea for the future, which I didn't think about it until midway through recording. We'll start color coding starters and bench players, so it's easier to see and easier for us to access it. I mean, Ross and one of these other 2 guys is a starter. Taylor and Singletary is a starter. Obviously, these 4 to 5-ish right there, guys.
His team will be on the screen, and it could just edit it on the screen. Like a quick pop-up, 30 seconds.
I could do that, but
you should do that.
No, I do have it on my Mac, so I could do that. But I don't know. I mean, let's say you have this team, which keep in mind, his first next year is not his pick, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So he has a
none of his
first
picks
year,
are
but it's not his.
None of his first 3 picks are his.
So I think the first thing that you have to look at is if you're going in the rebuild direction, you have to get your pick back.
Yep.
Yes.
It's a
That's
rule.
the number one thing if you want to go rebuild. Um, I don't know. It's almost tough to say that you could contend with this team unless if you decide like I want to trade one of Taylor or Jefferson, maybe both of them for like a couple good guys instead of just one insane guy.
Well, I don't know. I feel like if you told me you had to trade one of Jefferson or Taylor, I'm trading Taylor, obviously
Yeah.
just because
I agree.
running back is such an expendable position. But if there was a trade I had to put together to pawn off Taylor, I would target a guy like Travis Etienne, and I think you could definitely get 2 first-round picks to go along with that.
Yeah.
That's
If you
not crazy, honestly.
if you like Travis Etienne that much.
I'm almost curious to know who the guy that has his pick has for running backs.
Me too. I wish I asked that.
Um, I mean, it's definitely something he should consider maybe looking into is getting one of the guy's top running backs or receivers, giving up maybe Taylor and getting the pick back. Will it suck to suck this year? Yes, but Madison and Herbert too could be interesting plays. Like couple of their starting running backs, Monty and Cook, go down. Like those aren't bad like running backs.
Dude, and don't forget, Khalil Herbert could be the starter after this year if
Mhm.
Chicago decides not to resign Montgomery. But even Ronald Jones, dude,
Now, yeah, Ronald Jones could be a starter
I
too.
think he'll definitely have a role with the Chiefs this year.
It's
I
almost,
think he's in no man's land. Like you look at
yeah,
his
that's the
team,
problem.
he doesn't have a clear RB2. He doesn't have a clear wide receiver 2, unless you count Darnell Mooney, but that's iffy. He doesn't have elite tight ends. Like there's nothing great about his team. Like outside of Jonathan Taylor and Justin Jefferson, there's nothing about this team that like
Shocks you.
there's nothing or even like
Yeah.
impresses me. Like I
You have
think
to go
you
rebuild.
have a lot of the most average team possible with 2 of the best players in the NFL. So you either have to put the best possible players around them to win this year or within the next couple years, or I'd just break it down and load up on picks, young players. I'd trade Alan Lazard midseason for, I don't know. I wouldn't.
Anything at that point.
No,
Anything.
I think you could easily get maybe even a second or 2 for Alan Lazard when he pops off this year.
I don't know about 2 seconds. I don't even know
Yeah,
about that.
maybe
You gotta
a
think
second.
this is a 10 man. You gotta think about that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you might be able to get a second. I think you should be able to get a second for Alan Lazard at some point during the season. I'd hold on to Jamison Williams and John Dotson. I'd trade one of Mooney and Elijah Moore.
Personally, I would
See,
trade
I
Mooney.
wouldn't.
I'm not a Mooney guy if you had to, but
See, I don't. So, what's your number one move if you're this guy?
I'm
What's the
trading
first thing you're
Jonathan
doing?
Taylor. I'm
Yeah.
trading Jonathan Taylor. Not that I think he's a bad player. He's a great player to build a team around, but I don't know. You
I agree. I think
I'm a big fan.
can get a
You'll
lot.
probably hear this a lot. You sell players at their ceiling, and Jonathan Taylor will never produce more than he did last year. So I think obviously you're trading a guy who's gonna be a top running back option for the next however many years. But if you can get fair compensation, then especially in this situation, you have to look forward to it, especially because you'd have 3 first round picks. I don't know. I would say realistically, you'd have 223 first and 224 first. And that's a very, very good spot to set yourself up in, considering you'd still have a pretty good wide receiver core. I'd also consider trading Russ and maybe a second for a younger quarterback just to get. I don't know. What type of guy would you guys target for Russ in a second?
see. So I was.
I wouldn't even trade Russ, to be honest.
See, I don't know. I was thinking the same thing as Steve. I think if you're just gonna rebuild, why not get rid of Russ to a team that needs another quarterback that will overpay for him?
Yeah. Something I
Sutton
like.
owners.
Shout out to DJ Ingles. He sent us the link to his draft, so I can just see the draft board directly on Sleeper. So if you guys do that, that will also make things easier for us.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Mhm.
That's Actually, really
That's
interesting.
cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here on my phone.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Okay.
Now, I got a quick question for you guys. So, if you are Nick in this case and you say, okay, I'm going to rebuild, is this a 2-year project or is this one you think you can turn around in a year?
No, I think it's
23 draft.
I think it's 2 year.
Your project, especially if you're trading Jonathan Taylor for the young running back of your choice. I'd say somewhere in that Cam Akers, Travis Etienne range, and the 23 and a 24 first. I'd say if you do that, then you're banking on winning in 2025.
Yeah. Or even if you like a guy like J.K. Dobbins per se.
Yeah, but that's
not
risky
horrible.
to do that though.
That yeah, I don't know.
It's
not even
it's
Dobbins.
risk. I'm not a Dobbins guy.
Any
I'm not a
running back
Dobbins
in that
guy,
tier.
but in this case, you're just trying to get assets.
Yeah, no, all those guys fall in the same category of being really talented, but they have injuries that are going to put a question mark on the rest of their career until they show otherwise.
I think, and this is me personally, I'm building around these 4 players: Justin Jefferson, Mooney, Elijah Moore, and Jameson Williams. Those are my core 4 receivers, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that's a strong 4. I don't see how you could trade Jefferson really, unless if like the team just gets really ugly. Even if you do trade Taylor, I can't see how you trade Jefferson. I mean, he's going to be so good for what, a decade? Close to it.
Yeah. How old is he? He's 23.
He's young, dude. I mean, maybe not a decade. A decade's a long time in football, but obviously,
No, I'd still give him a great 8 years.
yeah. So,
and I'm still Googling his age right now.
My thinking is you trade Taylor and you get pretty much like, at least if you're going only picks for Taylor, at least 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, that's
And
I'd say realistically 3 first, 2 23 and a 24.
Yeah, I agree. That's at least 2 23 first you need in the package, and maybe like a second if it's 23. And that's adjustable. And then I think if you can get someone to overpay for Russ and maybe give you like a first plus, then maybe you just suck it up with Mariota and Goff for a year and maybe just find someone else you can get for cheap. And then after that, I think maybe even consider like Jahan Dotson being on the trade block, unless you like him. I know Gavin likes him, but unless you like him personally, if you can get someone to overpay and maybe you could package him with like something else small, maybe a second and Dotson, someone will give you like a first and a fourth or something. Like even, I don't know, just stacking first round picks. I don't think people realize how good it is, but you got Michael Mayer who's coming out next year. He could be really good for tight end premium. You have all of these quarterbacks that could easily replace Russ for you. I mean, CJ Stroud's supposed to be an animal. Bryce Young could be very good. In another year, Caleb Williams could be very, very good.
Yeah, I definitely think that if you're going to trade Russ, see the price that a Cortland Sutton owner, a Jerry Jeudy owner, see what they would be willing to pay.
For sure.
Because people, if you throw the idea of them having a stack, they're going to be all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Especially if they only have one good quarterback.
Yeah, and like stacks and great offenses are just like those will win you championships. Pairing a great quarterback with a great receiver and a great offense, it's just how can you go wrong besides injury?
Yeah. I also do want to say too, like a small piece that no one really will notice is Brevin Jordan. I actually don't like mind him possibly as like a piece to hold on to. I think he could.
I was going to say that too.
He could be interesting moving forward as a tight end premium player. He's very cheap right now, and I don't think he's going to be that bad. He might not ever be special.
Starting, right, for Houston?
Yeah.
He's got to be the tight end one, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could be one of your starting tight ends for the rest of his career, possibly. I mean, you're starting 2 a week, so.
That's not crazy to say.
The tight end position is so scarce the last few years that Brevin Jordan could be a very nice piece to your team in the future.
There's nothing crazy about saying he could be a top 20 tight end.
No, not at all. He was what was he last year? I mean, he barely played last year, did he?
have no idea.
He
see.
did. I think he had a very small sample size. I think it was towards the end of the year where he played pretty well.
The problem is really all tight ends is just touchdowns. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. There's very few see the like the receiving volume.
he was tight end 44 last year, and he didn't even play until week 8.
Damn. Okay.
And he still missed 2 games after that too. Oh well, he missed 1 game after that, and he had a bye week. So he played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, and he was tight end 44, which I don't know how that means. That's also a normal scoring. This is tight end premium, so I have no clue, I guess. But I still think
it's going to be the same.
Yeah. No, but overall, if you guys had to say, if you had to lay the groundwork for Nick and what he's going to go do moving forward, what is the first step and the second step you take?
You want me to go first, Steve, or?
Yeah, right, what do you want to establish before you
number
make any
one,
moves?
Without knowing any context of the other teams, I'm going and looking at the person that has my pick. If they're a contender and they need a quarterback like Russ, maybe they're like the Judy Sutton situation. Russ has gone to them. Honestly, I would trade him Russ for my pick straight up if I could do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly,
you kind of just have to establish who you want to build around.
If I can get my pick back for just Russ, honestly, you can maybe even like consider keeping JT and Jefferson. But after that, if you want, you could even, if someone has 223 first, you could consider trading Jonathan Taylor for those and maybe another second that year or a first the following year. And you could possibly be looking at 4 to 5 first round picks just next year, which even if you don't take all of those picks, the value when those picks become numbers is like absurd because people just get pick happy. If someone has 50% of the draft, every other person's gonna be like, oh, I gotta get in on this spot so I can get a guy.
Yeah, so, fear of missing out. Out.
So, and then I think the third thing I do is if I could get a first round pick for Dotson, even no matter what year it is, I think I'd take it. I like his
I agree.
regardless without Dotson, so I think he could consider doing that. Unless if he likes Dotson's upside to be a top, I don't know, 30 receiver one day, because they do have a lot of spots for receivers, but
yeah. See, I like Jahan Dotson, but like Ant said, if you can get a first round pick, you got to take it. Mm-hmm. He's worth probably a second right now.
An early second, yeah.
Yeah. But no, yeah, just establish who you want to build around and go from there. Draft capital will be important.
All right, so
I would
if this is me, not knowing your league, 2 trades I'm making, I'm gonna go very specific with this. I'm gonna try to trade Darnell Mooney for my first round pick back. That's the first thing I'm doing.
See, I don't think you're gonna be able to do that though.
Then, you could do it with the Fields owner, maybe if he.
Yeah, that's if he has your first, but you need your first to do what I'm about to. Well, yeah, what I'm about to say, you're gonna need your first back.
You think Mooney's worth a top 10 pick though?
If you like Mooney, yeah, but I'm not paying a first round pick.
Yeah, maybe it's just personal.
I do a 24 first for Mooney, but this 23 class is loaded, dude. Yeah.
I wouldn't even pay a first round pick for Mooney in a 14 team league.
But that's just I think I would, but in a 10 man,
I definitely would. Okay, but anyway, considering you can get Darnell Mooney back or you can get Darnell Mooney out and get your first back, do that. And I'd even like throw in a third if you have to, whatever. Just get your first back. And then you trade, considering that this guy will be fine with doing that, I'd trade Taylor for Javonte in a second.
I don't hate that.
See, I don't mind.
I looked at Keep Trade Cut and it said that was like terrible, but that's because the value adjustment is messed up. So please don't go off the Dynasty calculator for all of your leagues. It's not always right, and no one likes that guy that looks at the calculator and goes based off that. Make decisions for yourself, please.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't hate that.
I thought about it, and I think you might be able to get more. I don't know. I think you're getting a slight downgrade at running back, and you're getting a potential role player.
I'd see. I don't know. I just feel
I
like
think, but I
I'd
don't
be
think a
fine
slight
getting-
downgrade is when he needs. He needs
Okay,
to
I
like
guess-
a full tier down.
I don't know. I
I
guess
agree.
in that case, I'd much rather get 3 firsts and Javante in a second.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I guess I just trade Taylor and Mooney for a boatload of picks, dude.
Yep.
Like I trade
insane.
those 2 players for 4 first-round picks. Those 2 players and a third, maybe a 24 second for 4 first-round picks. That's what you need to do.
Dude, if you could
And at
get-
least 2 of them need to be in 2023.
if you
And
have,
one of them needs to be yours.
imagine having 3 out of 10 of the like 2023 first round picks next year, like that, like could be very good. I mean, let's say you get lucky, you get your pick back. Even if you trade Russ too, let's say you have the 101, you get like, I don't know, CJ Stroud, and then I don't know, let's say your next pick's 103 and oh crap, Bryce Young went. Oh well, I got Bijan Robinson, like and then you still
Yeah.
have another pick. Even if it's like
Jackson
the
Smith
10th pick, like,
Najee.
Yeah, no, like
dude,
I don't
there's
think you guys
so many
understand
players.
Oh my god, the players coming out of this class are gonna be
Especially
so
with the
good.
2
Dude.
QB tight end premium, it just makes the like draft class next year this much higher.
Yeah. So like everyone is gonna be equally valued. So the top 5 picks,
Mhm.
especially in this guy's draft, Nick's draft, they're gonna be insane. Like you're gonna have this is the best top 5 you'll see for a decade.
Yeah, this draft class is gonna be very good for these kind of leagues, I think.
But we have been kind of rambling on for a minute, so I think we should wrap it up unless we have anything else.
I mean, I don't. Besides saying that I don't think it's the worst team I've ever seen, but I think it's got a lot of work, like he said. I mean, I don't know.
You have things to trade. You definitely aren't
Mhm.
stuck.
Not
No,
like
you have
to tearing it
assets.
down.
I would say you trading Mooney is probably a move I would do before the season, and Taylor if you're going to do that. But besides that, if you want to move your other players, I would wait till during the season
unless,
because
Russ,
yes,
I
there's a
think,
chance of them getting. Yeah, maybe I could see the Russ trade being a decent offseason move, but all of your other guys, I don't see any of their value being higher than it is during the season when they're putting up points for you. Yes, they might have bad weeks, but it's okay to let a guy have a bad week and then trade him a couple of weeks later. So you can make a lot of moves during the season when people are getting a lot of wins and losses and making emotional decisions. You got to take advantage of
Yeah.
your league mates.
Definitely.
One last thing I'll say too, like our rebuild videos we've been doing the last couple weeks. I know me and Gavin, we did in that video mistakes people make. That's premiering tomorrow, Wednesday the 20th. I don't know when this will be uploaded, but don't just fire sell the entire team, like thinking that your team sucks and you need to rebuild. You got to keep at least some people like Jefferson to build around. But that's the last thing I have to say, unless you guys have more.
No, I agree.
I
Pick
agree.
a direction you want to go in and stick with it. Just be consistent.
So do you guys got anything else to say?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, I just want to say if you want your team to be critiqued kind of like this, maybe even more in the future, just send us your team via DM to That's My Take podcast on Instagram.
It'll be linked
Link
in the description.
Yeah, link in description. I can also put the link tree in description too, I guess, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I can put the link tree in description. Just I guess send us your team and send us like the league details, the amount of pick numbers, like stuff like that, starters, everything. Screenshots probably work the best, but I guess that's gonna be it. So Nick, good luck in the rest of your leagues and peace.
Peace.
Peace.